Again, this is another video of me, Anthony Geerts, and in this video I'm going to show you how to set up your free AWS cloud on Amazon. So what is an AWS cloud? It's actually a dedicated server somewhere in a data center in the States or in Europe, and you can use that dedicated server to install your own Apache website, for example, or maybe you want to set up a data coin mining rig or any other nice toys that you want to play with outside of your own machine. So Amazon is offering a free account which is 750 hours free usage, and you can set it up from scratch. So it's actually nice, it's a good toy. So let's start by searching for the EC2 system. So just in Google type in Amazon EC2, and then the first result is your AWS page. So you click on this one, and then in the top right corner you can see create a free account. So it explains a little bit of what it is, but we'll just click on create a free account. Now I already set everything up, so I won't be able to replicate the entire process again. As you see, I already signed up to access the Amazon services. However, what I'll do is I'll try to open it up in a different browser and see how far we get. Because the problem is there is a few items are necessary. One, you need a credit card. Even though they're not going to charge it, it's still necessary because for verification purposes, and not that everybody's going to build a bunch of servers, right? So let me try it under Internet Explorer. Create a free account. Here we go. So you can use your standard Amazon.com account. So in this case I'm just going to say I'm a new user. I'm going to say my info. This is my email address, and then sign in using the secure server. You indicate you're a new customer, but your account already exists. Okay, well, let's try it out. Here we go. So now I have to fill in all my details, and then after that's completed, you check the terms and conditions, and then it will create your account. So after your account is set up, it will ask you for your credit card details, and it will also ask you for phone verification. So, but when it is set up, you can open up your control panel. So let's open up the control panel here. So thank you for signing up, and then we'll open up our control panel by going to the home page, and then my account console, and then here you have your AWS management console. Okay, so bunch of icons, bunch of different things that you see there. The thing that we're going to install is our EC2. So it's a virtual server in the cloud. So clicking on that one will open the EC2 management console, and actually I have it here as well. So I haven't done this yet, so I'm not sure what's going to happen, but I presume it's going to be straightforward enough. So let's launch instance, where you see create instance. To start using Amazon EC2, you will want to launch a virtual server known as an Amazon EC2 instance. So let's click on that one. Okay, so there are different options that you can pick from. So you have your Amazon Linux type installation, Red Hat, SUSE, and Ubuntu, and there's even Microsoft Windows servers in there. So some nice things to play with. I prefer my Linux, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for Ubuntu server 1204 because it's a stable one, and I'm used to working with it. And I'll prefer to go for the 32-bit one. So Amazon 32-bit, and then I'll just press select. Okay, so market instance are low-cost instance options, and because of it's a free account, we're gonna have the free setup, which is memory half a gig, and network performance very low, and then up to 2 CUs. I'm not entirely sure what it is. The number of EC compute units, so it's similar to CPUs, up to 2 CPUs. Okay, and it's one. Okay, so up to 2 cores and maybe 1 virtual CPU. So let's review and launch, and then okay, we can actually configure it as well. So let's try this button out. Next, configure instance details. Here we go. So one instance, So no preference because it's a free setup, so you can select different areas within the states, and with the network there's not much you can do as well. Automatically sign a public ID, and then any other shutdown behavior, terminate, yeah, stop, okay. So not much you can configure, to be honest. Okay, there are some kernel setups that you can use, but we're gonna stay with the defaults on everything. Okay, let's see, add storage. So by default it's 8 gig. Free tier eligible customers can get up to 30 gigs. Okay, learn more about free usage tier eligible and usage restriction. Okay, let's see. Simple storage, 5 gigs, blah 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 blah. Okay, if ever I want more storage, I can always increase it, because that's the benefit of cloud computing. So I'm just gonna continue. Tag the instance. So tag is a case sensitive key value pair. For example, you can tag with key is name value web server. Okay, well, aka they just wanted to give it a name. So in this case, I'm gonna call it Anthos server, and then next. Okay, so security groups as well, you can use the default ones. In this case, SSH, so that's how you can connect to the server. Port range 22, source from anywhere. So you can say, well, I want actually only to be able to connect from my IP and nobody else. So yeah, it's a nice security feature, so let's put that in there, so that everybody on YouTube won't be able to connect to my server. Okay, so launch version 1, security group name, that's fine, it's all default, and now we're gonna go review and launch. Okay, so this is my setup. I think it's a very basic setup, and now I'm gonna press launch. Okay, select an existing key pair or create a new key pair. So the key pair is a security feature where you have a private and a public key. So create a new key pair from scratch. You will have to do it, or you can say proceed without a key pair. So if you proceed without a key pair, then there is no added security in your system. So it is definitely the easiest way to get to your system. So I'm gonna say okay, I acknowledge that I'm not able to connect to this instance unless I already know the password built in this. Okay, so the problem is you need a key pair, because they're not gonna provide you the password unless it's somewhere in here, which I don't think so. Okay, well, let's create a key pair. So this is my Anthos server key, and I'm downloading it here. Okay, so this is my permanent key, and then I'm gonna launch my instance. Okay, so I need this key for me to connect to the server using PuTTY. Right? So how to connect to your Linux instance? So let's click on that one. So install an SSH client. Well, I have one here. I'm just gonna open a new session, and then what I need to do is I need to actually put in this server key in there. So I'm gonna go to my SSH. First, I'm gonna create a new session, and I need to know the host name. So the following instance launch has been created. Let's see. So this is my server, and this is the public IP. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a session within my PuTTY. Okay, so first of all I'm going to type in the IP address 54.213.16.37, and I'll give it a name, Amazon. And now I'm just going to save this, load it in again, and now I'm going to go to my SSH, and then here in out I can actually set my private key file for authentication. I'm going to browse and point to that key file that I just downloaded. It's a permanent key. Okay, let's see if it likes that key. Let's save, double click. There you go, this is the server host key, yes, trusted. Unable to use key file out service key because it's a keyword set. So what I need to do is I need to generate my private key. Let's try them out. This is especially for PuTTY, the one I'm using. So we need to convert our converting our private key. So what we need is PuTTY. So you can download it from the PuTTY website. I actually have it already on my PC, so I'm going to open up PuTTY, and then I'm going to load in my key. So by default it says SSH, and then I can select load to load in my existing key pair. So I'll go to my downloads folder again. It's a PEM file, so this one here, it's not a PPK file yet. Okay, and it's a successfully imported foreign key. To use this key with PuTTY, you need to save private key. So now that's okay, and I'm going to say save private key. I sure want to save this key without the passphrase to protect it. Yeah, that's fine. And I'll call this my Amazon key. Okay, so now my private key is saved. So I'm going to go back to my PuTTY session. New session here. I'm going to load in my Amazon. And I'm going to go again to SSH, authentication. I'm going to browse to that key that I just created, so that one here. Okay, so now, let me save it. It should automatically log us in. Here we go. Okay, it actually does not log us in. Okay, I figured it out. So it's always reading the fine print because it says for Ubuntu, the username is Ubuntu. So let's try that again. Username Ubuntu. Okay, now it's authenticating. As you can see, it authenticated using the imported key, and now we have a Ubuntu server set up. So let's have a quick look. Okay, so we have Ubuntu running. Let's see if we can install something. So apt get install git, for example. Okay, doesn't work. Why? Because we need to use sudo. What I can do is sudo su minus, then I'm at root, and now I can do apt get install git, and now it will install GitHub for me. So there you have it. It's a working Linux box. Maybe just for this example I can install a standard Apache installation. So let's see if I can connect to the IP address. Let's go back to the session. Load this in. So this is my IP address. At the moment I should see nothing. Okay. Now apt get install Apache 2. Yes sir. So Apache 2 is a web server, and I actually have a previous video on how to install a web server from scratch. So it's very simple, especially with Ubuntu, where you can just apt get everything. Okay, that's installed. Let's see if it starts. The Apache start. Server is already running. Okay, now let's go to the IP address. Reload. Okay, no access, and that's most likely because there's some firewall rule going in there. So let's just have a quick look at our control panel. Okay, so we're actually pretty close. It was in the security groups. So we go to our security groups, and then we go to our instance, which is this one here. And then you can see an inbound rule. Right? So at the moment it's only port 22 that is being allowed. So I'm going to create a new rule, and I can just select HTTP, and then the source address 000 should be okay, because it just allows everything. And then apply the rule change. Change is not applied yet. Changes have been applied. Okay, now let's try again to connect to our IP address. And here we go, it works. So now I have my website up and running. Well, up and running. There is Apache going in there.